If you're looking for a cute movie about two high school students and they fall in love together, Chemical Hearts is not the movie for you. Trust me. What's going on, you guys? James here with another real review, and today I'm diving into Prime Video's Chemical Hearts, starring the wonderful Lili Reinhart and Austin Abrams. It is a movie that is a little bit different than your usual two high school students. They go to class together, they fall in love, and it's a beautiful ending. This is not that kind of romance film, guys. It's much heavier than that, but honestly, it doesn't always work. Now, before I get into why it doesn't work, if it's your first time here at the channel, guys, welcome to Real James, where I talk about movies and TV just like this. So if you want more early reviews, go ahead and hit the big red button below and subscribe to the channel. Now, don't forget to tap on that bell as well, just to stay updated with anything new, like my Legend of Korra reactions this week. And also, we're talking and diving right into DC fandom. I'm bringing you my reaction pieces, some news videos. I'm excited to just discuss all the big surprises and reveals this weekend. And go ahead and smash that like button and get loud in the comments below and let me know if you agree with me or not. Is this movie something you liked or didn't enjoy, just like me? Chemical Hearts is a story about two high school students who have a love for writing, and eventually that love becomes for one another. However, one of these students, Grace, played by Lili Reinhart, has a bit of a troubled past in which Henry, played by Austin Abrams, tries to uncover, and things get a little deep. Very depressing, actually. Chemical Hearts is directed by Richard Tanne, who also did South Side with You, the President Barack Obama, Michelle Obama movie that chronicled their first date together, so he's not unfamiliar with romance. However, here, this is a very untraditional romantic film in a high school setting. Usually, you like to find those cute films, and sometimes they have cheap humor. There's no humor here. It is dour all of the time. And maybe the novel is even more sad, but I didn't read it. If you did, guys, let me know in the comments below if this is even faithful to the book. Now let's get into the positives, because there are a couple about this movie. I actually really like that it is different. See, the thing about high school relationships are, you know, heartbreak, you get some first experiences, and I think in this movie it does well to kind of highlight that Henry has never been in a relationship before, and clearly Grace has. However, there's a bit of a past for Grace that Henry's always trying to uncover, and eventually it comes to a head and it gets really depressing really quickly. See, that's the thing about this movie. Even though it is different, it isn't a happy film. So by the end, I wasn't left smiling, but maybe that was the film's intention. And another thing I noticed, especially because of the cinematography, it's dark, it's muddy, everything looks a little bit more, less vibrant, I would want to say, is its tone. It's very mature. For a high school teenage drama, it's incredibly mature, and I think there are a lot of elements here that might hit you hard even as an adult. I know there were a couple of scenes that impacted me. And for some of these moments to feel believable, I think you have to give a huge credit to Lili Reinhart and Austin Abrams. Both of them are good on screen together. I mean, I'll be honest with you, Lili Reinhart can do no wrong right now. She is awesome. I loved her in Hustlers. She's awesome in Riverdale. And Austin Abrams, I don't know much about him, but he did a good job here kind of showing you the arc of his character, because he went from being, I wouldn't say necessarily peppy, but he was kind of a nerd, and that's okay because I was too, and he went full-blown sad, like definitely a different person by the end of this movie, and maybe that's okay because it shows the arc of his character, and I think Austin Abrams does a good job to portray that. Lili Reinhart balances the very emotional approach and also personable approach pretty well. They're not bad, honestly, but the issue I have with this movie is probably the writing and the pacing. While our leads bring this emotion, I think the movie is dry for the most part, and I get that maybe that's the intention. It's not supposed to be vibrant, like I said, but the dialogue is so depressing all of the time. There's no room for levity, and even when they try to bring a different approach with maybe a couple of jokes, I didn't find myself laughing because I'm still trying to get out of the headspace that the previous scene put me in, which was a very dour mood. It's always down. There's nothing very happy about this movie. And honestly, I do think the script was holding back Lili Reinhart. She's an awesome actor. Trust me, she is going to be so great as she continues to mature in Hollywood. But here, I think that they put her in a corner. You know, she has the capability to break out, but the movie kind of told her not to, and that was disappointing for me because I think Lili Reinhart really deserves even more of a lead role. I can't wait to see hopefully a film in the future where she is put in that role and they give her free reign because she definitely is capable of handling that much responsibility. But here, she deferred to Austin Abrams sometimes, and even when she didn't, again, the writing kind of just told her to stop and don't go over the top, and I think she would have done great if she did. And then there are some really, for me, unrealistic scenes. I mean, I don't know. I've never had a conversation with my sibling about neurons and how the heart kind of reacts and dopamine in a breakup. Like, that doesn't seem like a conversation that I think a high schooler would want to hear at that time. Yeah, I get it. Henry's different. But his sister, Suds, is one of those characters that I think is just there to advance the plot or remind you that, hey, this movie's called Chemical Hearts. Why? Because of chemical balances and how our brain reacts to heartbreak and depressing moments. It's like, yes, I know that all goes into, an experience in high school or in a relationship, but I mean, I don't know, the conversations here were just unnatural. And if you're looking for interactions between our two leads that are even cute, I guess is the word to use, then you're not going to find that until about an hour into the movie, and even then they're all really in montage sequences. So this film, again, is not trying to be a feel-good film. It's going to be sad. And then the one thing this movie does a lot that I think held it back quite a bit is trying to be deeper than it needs to be. There was a lot of symbolism here and callbacks to previous hangout spots, for example, that Henry and Grace have, to sort of paint a picture. And I understand that this is the director's choice to try, I don't know, develop some sort of continuity between these two. But if anything, because it was so deep and there were a lot of lingering shots, I just felt like maybe the movie overstayed its welcome a little bit. And then there are a lot of scenes that involve monologues. And yes, both of these characters love writing and poetry, but man, they're so long-winded. I mean, there were moments where I thought, okay, we gotta move on here, like the story has to progress, and eventually when you get to the end, everything is supposed to be, I guess in a way, beautiful. Like, it's supposed to leave you on a happier note than I guess you had started, but can't lie to you guys, I was not smiling at the end of this because I was a little let down. There's a lot of potential here, especially with these two leads, and because the movie was so different, I figured, oh my gosh, this is going to be a cool high school drama that deals with the more mature side of relationships. But instead, it just tried to be a little bit more than it should have been, and I didn't necessarily think it was effective. I also wish they gave more attention to these supporting characters, especially when you give them solo moments. Like, one of Henry's friends is falling for one of their classmates, and then they get the solo moment at a party together, and I didn't necessarily feel any which way about it. Maybe that's because we didn't get a chance to know these characters, and it kind of just felt like thrown in there. It almost feels as if that was one part of the novel that read better on paper than it translated to the screen. So overall, you guys, Chemical Hearts is one of those movies that presents a different type of high school drama. This romance is not typical, and honestly, it is very depressing. So the movie does succeed in not being enjoyable, and that was of course its purpose, but at the same time, it was also just not one of those films that I felt did anything great, not even anything very good. The movie itself really should have let their leads kind of explore the script a little bit more, and maybe the script was just holding back the potential of Lili Reinhart. She could have made the entire film even better towards the middle and even the end of the film, but again, it just kind of felt long-winded and really just might have ran on a little too long. Now that is the issue sometimes when you have novels adapted for film, is that things might play better within chapters than they do over the course of an hour and a half film. But I really felt that Chemical Hearts could have been much better, and it is a little disappointing because the premise again was so unique and it was just not executed well at all. Alrighty guys, well there you have it. Those are my thoughts on Chemical Hearts, but hey, I want to know what you think. So go ahead and get loud in the comments below and tell me, do you agree with me or do you disagree with me? If you haven't already, go ahead and smash that red button below and subscribe to the channel and tap on that bell because you're not going to want to miss out on my review for Peninsula, the sequel to Train to Busan. Also, Legend of Korra reviews and reactions are dropping this week. Oh boy, and the big one, DC fandom coverage this weekend. Oh, I'm prepped. I have like 6 batteries for these lights. Alrighty y'all, well I'm going to keep watching some more movies and TV. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you at the next screening.